think a few of the participants had emailed or dropped messages, either that they were going to be a few minutes late or that they couldn't make it today. But then we will take care of how if they need any support or how to do the review of the Midway check-in. So since Natalia and Martina are both here, maybe we can already start with you guys. Hi, Mika.
Hi.
Awesome, nice to see you. Maybe we can already start, Martina and Natalia, with your progress
Yeah,
so far
perfect.
on your project, and then we can take it from there.
Yeah.
So you
Uh,
can let us know your progress and in terms of where you're at and what it is that if there's something that you guys need from the group or from us before the final submission deadline, which is in 10 days from now. So,
yeah. Okay, so we let's say divided a little bit our things to do. So I'm focusing more on the video because we said that there should be my grandma, and Natalia is focusing more in on the recipes. She's a pastry chef, so that feels like natural. If I can share the uh, screen, can you see it?
yep.
Okay. So these are more or less images of what we thought from the about the video. So we will start in the so first of all the video will be recorded and based on the Sicilian Spring. So this is the topic, but obviously the recipe will be in a way that you can change the season. So we don't want to push out of season ingredients. So that is not like okay for us because we want to be sustainable, etc. So for us will be spring, but then once we will be in fall for the Dutch Design Week, we can change ingredients. So the video will start in the local market, so we will see all the spring ingredients, fruits and vegetables. And
Martina, we see the picture like super hyper mega small.
Only the thumbnails still.
Exactly.
We see the folder with all the.
okay, wait. Because it asks. Thank you for letting me know. Because once you share and you open from the folder, it doesn't share the opening part. Okay, let me know if you can see it now. Big. Can you see it big? Yes. Okay. So I was saying the first one is in the local market, and we want to capture the smell or the textures, and not just obviously visually the spring ingredients from Sicily right now. And then we will go. Yeah, I don't know if I can make to bring my grandma in the local market, but let's say we capture the atmosphere because it's really typical. So I think this is enough. And then we will move the scene inside my grandma house. We don't want her to be recorded in her face, so it will be just gestures with her hands and the back movements, just to give this slow life, slow style grandma vibes. And it's not like it would be a conversation with me, but not like a long conversation. There are these moments of silence with the scenes, and then me talking with my grandma, trying to remembering these recipes that she used to do when she had her garden because she doesn't have it anymore. So it's like growing her own food, what was in season, what she used to do, and then there is this recipe about a dessert that comes out. So we talk about this recipe, and then somehow I try to introduce her the AI because obviously she doesn't know anything about it. So I will try to make her, if I manage to make her talk with AI, because with Gemini you can send like a vocal message. So I think it's better for her instead of typing. But we will manage like to make her talk with the AI and ask for the recipe, and obviously maybe she will think to receive back then like the same recipe that she would do, but instead there are suggestions, modifications that obviously change completely um, the main reason of the recipe, which is not just taste, but it's all the things that brings with it. And so then there will be maybe some scene of her doing something, not of the whole cooking. This is something that Natalia will do because she can't right now. She can't cook all this on her own, unfortunately. But then the scenes basically ends with these moments like where she's doing something, and then we want to record the last parts of the final dessert. And also, but maybe Natalia, you can do that. You can say that in the recipe, the thing of the ticket that we wanted to give, right? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So, and that's the video basically. So not too, it's not like a really dynamic one, because we want really to make people feel the calm and slow things that were happening in a grandma house usually.
Beautiful. Are you going to, is this script like, okay, you had these screens thought out for your story of the video. Are you going to capture the actual moments without scripting them, in the sense when you show your grandmother this
Yeah,
device and
I would
tell her
like,
to speak, try to see if you can capture, even if you don't use that in your final video,
no,
It
I
is very
want to
important.
definitely
capture
capture.
it. I want to
That's
honestly, I also like, obviously the purpose is to show that it's the first time that she's interacting with AI, but I already made a test because I needed to understand where she was, like if she was understanding or not, if she could do that. So I think I just need another smartphone, but I can record it like the
And
moment
do try
Natalia
to get it
Nolan says.
horizontal, vertical, so that you also have, because for promoting your project, even for Dutch Design Week, etc., Nonna's reaction to AI.
will be that's very important because it's so emotional. It's going to be so contrasted. That is a key part of the process.
So, but the main thing is that she's not going to be recording the face, but like, the movements, the things. So I hope to
The
have,
verbalization, maybe.
Yeah.
yeah, I have my, and obviously it's going to be in Italian, and probably there will be some
We're going to
Sicilian
make
words in the
the
middle of it. So I think this also helps,
The
giving,
authenticity of the
yeah,
grandmother.
exactly.
absolutely.
And then there
Perfect.
will be subtitles in English, obviously.
Perfect.
So I think it's really authentic, because this is like I really went to her and asked her, okay, tell me like what do you remember, what you used to do with these ingredients, etc., etc. So
Love it.
like
Love
it's
it.
going to be the same thing.
And so now, can you explain a bit? Maybe that's where you're going
Of the
now. How
recipe.
does the actual
Exactly.
AI
Yes.
recipe come in? Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
actually we have several iterations about the idea that we really wanted to achieve in the final dessert. At first we were like, okay, maybe it's a dichotomy in the dish, two kinds of different desserts. But for the final like idea, I'm going to share it. Let me let me know if you can see my computer.
We see
Yes.
Zoom. Yeah.
Oh yes, let me check. Oh, wait. I'm going to, first of all, I need to find the document
We see the
because here in
document.
Zoom,
Yes.
it's okay. Yes,
Ensemble, Martina and Natalia dessert.
yes,
Yeah.
perfect. So after we made all these iterations about the ideas that we have above, we want, in order to stress like the concept about this dialogue between the algorithm and the grandmother, we want to give at the beginning of the experience a page of Martina's grandmother's recipe notebook, the real one, like the handwriting, and also maybe with a little sketch of the original dessert, which is when Martina make this conversation with her grandmother. There were like three main points of the dessert. It was a pan of Spain. It calls pan de España, which is actually a sponge cake, a traditional sponge cake with a cherry raspberry, because the cherry is one of the main products of the spring. But as Martina told, you can change it because it's going to be October and we want to have like a fruit of the moment that it's important for the dialogue of the process. And also with a whipped cream and some fresh strawberries, because strawberries are also a product of the spring, that moment of change. And we wanted to have like this notebook page, handwriting, with a sketch of what is the original version. However, the final dessert we intend to serve is not the original, but the result of the dialogue. So it's going to be a hybrid product or a hybrid creation shaped by the memory and the algorithm. While it's actually rooted in tradition, in grandma knowledge, in seasonal ingredients, the final product is more like an IA version, more an aesthetic of perfection. So we actually, with an IA, we make like the idea of what people is going to expect, that is going to be more similar, like the sketch of the notebook paper, of the handwriting recipe of the grandmothers, but actually in the plate they are going to receive a very structured, very perfectly dish, very like more, yes, more like a aesthetic of perfection and a algorithm. So we're not to explain that, we want that people make their own dialogue in their mind, but it's going to make a disruption when they saw the paper with their ancient recipe and a sketch of the original product, and then they will receive a very structured product and very perfect product. So we believe this is going to be like the final, but we are going to take the process with photograph step by step in real process. The final photography, I'm going to make it the 9th of June, because I have my space, my atelier available for do it. So I have all my team and the available of the atelier, and we're going to make recordings also like a backup process, not for the video, because remember, the video is about the Martina's grandmother, but we are going to make all the videos for to have the recordings and the process in the backup for us. And we have here like already all the recipe, because it's actually a very simple recipe for a pastry chef. Is very easy. But so I made the whole process like the minimum viable product that we could actually made in the process. So we have the pan di spagna, sponge cake, the syrup, the chantilly cream, the homemade cherry jam, and the final assembly. That's the whole process that we're going to upload in the folder, but you will receive also a backup folder with all the process, photographies, and actual making of the dessert.
Perfect. My mouth is watering. Um, a couple of questions. I noticed
Yes.
that you guys have used cherry and strawberry. I understand the reason. Is it that when you
Yes.
want the replacement fruits, they also should be at least red fruit?
Yes.
No,
If
I
it's
mean, we want them to be red. I'm sorry. I mean, I
no,
don't. I think it's the same. But if you, Natalia, wants to them to be red for like aesthetic, they could be
yes,
red.
I believe that it's important if we could find red fruits, but very seasonal fruits. It's not, we don't want to force it. For example, if it's impossible to have a red fruit, we don't want to push it. But for the aesthetic of the product or the final product, because of the contrast of white and red, that is very, it's also very like how to say this, like very dichotomic, like
Yeah.
it's very it has a lot of contrast that is important for the poetic narration of the dessert. So at least fruits that will make like a contrast with the white, that's important.
So,
And
Yeah,
also because red is very passionate, red is very, like very uh, emotional. It's a color that transmits a lot. So if suddenly we have a green, it's not going to make the exact effect. So it's important to have a red, if it's possible, or a little bit pinky, something like that.
So what we need to do is, I think it's important because even if in your video, because I saw in the sketches, Martina, you've shown strawberries. Now, if they are still in season or cherries in your video are still being able to be captured, this is important because the color red visually, having seen the video and then this dessert, is
hmm
important. What
Yes,
you need to consider is maybe, Natalia, go over as many as possible red fruit,
perfect.
and in the recipe, put in the note saying seasonally replace with
Oh, okay, perfect.
tuck, tuck, tuck,
I
tuck,
will
tuck,
do
tuck.
it.
So you give already the framework, so the person who's executing the
Will be
this
easier.
recipe, it'll be
Absolutely.
much
So we
easier.
need to check what
Absolutely.
are the fruit in season in October
The
in the
October
Netherlands.
But don't
fruits.
focus on October, because the goal is not that your project is showcased once in October at Dutch Design
Oh,
Week.
that's true.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
you're
So
like
too
the
close.
point is
Yes.
that like in October is in season in the Netherlands, and if it's going to be done again in January in Brazil, then it's what's in season in January in Brazil.
correct, but therefore, you do not need to worry while developing your project about the fact of what is in season in the
Okay.
Netherlands in October.
Yes,
So we
You
just
need
write
to
down red fruits that we like
that
exactly.
give
further.
that will work with your concept and dessert, and that can have wide enough, in most places through the year it's
Yes.
possible to find these things. So just give someone that flexibility. And if you don't want someone to use tomatoes, make sure you say.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's
That's
I
perfect.
think the sort of guideline. So say
Absolutely.
replace with rhubarb, raspberry, strawberry, cherry,
Yes,
Okay.
perfect.
cranberry, whatever
Yes,
else, depending on what's most local and most in season. So that
perfect.
is a
We
note to
will check
give so
it.
that someone can work on it that way.
Yeah. And the other
Even with
ingredients
red
are,
apples, we can do something.
yeah.
Yes, it's perfect.
And
So
Yeah.
the
I'm
other
going to
ones
make
is
it in
not
the
in season.
document.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we can
and
write
you
it.
of course think about the flavor and how that works in
Perfect.
the overall thing. But I think that red color as a continuation, because we
That's
want to be able
vital.
to change it seasonally, but
But
it's
there is like
important.
also like purple and also these kind of colors in season right now as
That
fruit.
makes contrast. But I believe that it's better if we could find like the red ones, to make more easy to replicate the
Yeah,
images and
I
to
agree.
replicate the information.
I
I'm
agree. I
saying
agree.
red because you guys said strawberry and cherries. If you feel like you want it to be blue and you want it to be, or green or yellow or whatever you want it to be,
Hmm.
as your traditional recipes are, just try to see that you have enough variety for this to be able to be done in February in Brazil, for example. So if you
Perfect.
say the yellow passion fruit and then we're in a place where that's really difficult to find, or is really expensive, then that becomes a problem. So red is it's safe to always give you that flexibility and the seasonality and the appeal, because there's usually universal fruit that people recognize. So it'll
Yes.
always connect with people wherever your video is played.
And maybe,
Like,
I don't know, I have a question because also if you, for example, do that experience in Bogota, in Colombia, or in Ecuador, there are no seasons here. So you will have strawberries all the year and you will have everything all the year because we don't have seasonal products here
Yeah.
in our countries.
Yeah. I mean, and over here also, even where we have seasons, you can unfortunately or fortunately still find pretty much anything anytime you want.
yeah, obviously that you can. The point, I mean, at least for me, so I talk for myself, the point for me is that to also highlight the seasonality, the fact that you should eat in season because it's tastier, healthier, and better
Of
for the
course.
planet.
Try
So,
to
And
get
better
these
for the taste
messages.
also.
Try to get these messages through your video, because you cannot control the iteration of what happens. If seasonality is something that drives Nonna's way of making recipes, try to get that aspect into it. Maybe it's with the visit to the farmer's market, maybe it's with a narrative and a voiceover, maybe it's with some other visualization. That's the creativity up to you guys. What also I think could be very interesting is the process. So while you've got this storyboard, what could be very interesting in your video to also potentially explore is the way that, if you're talking about this recipe, the paper of a book out of Nonna's page out of Nonna's recipe book, try to see if you actually has a recipe book and is flipping through it, or has written down a recipe, or Martina, you
That will
can
be
try and
amazing.
write a recipe, whatever it is, versus the aspect of typing and quickly asking and generating a final thing through a screen recording of
Yes,
chat. Try to see how those aspects can be interspersed into this video, because that contrast of the I think what's very powerful right now is y'all are saying that the video is very relaxed and old school and authentic, and then the product that comes out looks very, well, futuristic but sort of sterile and manufactured,
exactly. Like very algorithm product.
very algorithmic. Now, if your partner who's executing cannot execute a algorithmic dish, like doesn't get the sharp lines, your project falls flat because your video doesn't have any aspect of future slash algorithm. Or
But I don't know if I'm misunderstanding, but our purpose is not to serve the perfectly shaped dessert. Like we
Actually,
want to
Martina,
serve the
remember that we talked that if we are going to have the paper of your grandmother in the process, the final dish should be the dialogue of your grandmother and the IA.
you
So the
wanted
final
to
product
you wanted
is going
to
to be
make it
very
shaped like better, like AI shaped, let's say.
exactly, like it's going to be like the dialogue, because I believe it's important to have in the final dish that the product arrives, the final product is the result of the dialogue of your grandmothers and the IA. So the IA is going to put all these algorithm aesthetics in the final product. So what the person is going to receive in their plate is going to be that dialogue, and it's a dialogue that shows all that like a more perfect product at the end.
Okay, but I mean, we can talk about that
you
later.
can decide, that's your creative process and your decision.
Yeah, yeah,
Anything
sure.
we're saying, I think Mika has feedback as well.
Yeah, maybe you can do like when Nana is asking AI, maybe you can take a picture. It's just an idea that the Nana is asking, how can I change the fruit in a seasonal way? Maybe that's the way you can implement it. Do you understand, Martina?
Yeah.
Maybe that's an idea that Nana can say, oh, give me which fruit do I use in this season, of which fruit can I use in this season, and then you see that AI gives her the information or gives her the change. And I like also the idea that at the end, the tart is shaped like in AI. And then I would like also do the styling behind, very contrast. And then I think it's gonna be a wow factor. But still, I think still the Nana has to be like in the picture in a way. I don't know how, but
But you can use, you mean her face, no?
no, not her face, but
Like for
or
behind or something.
yeah, or something.
Yeah,
But
so
you
if you
mean
put,
in the flyer we're going to give?
Yeah, at the end. So you can see that it's the story of Nana and AI, and at the end that you don't only have at the end an AI picture, that you
You mean in the
feel
video?
that Nana
Yeah, okay.
was in the whole.
So maybe we can show the dessert before ending the video with the last scene of something of the grandma.
yeah. And another way that you can also possibly do it, I'm just thinking out loud, is imagine if you had this cube, a very stark cube, like sprayed or very sharply iced of your final cake. That's the look, the white, sleek, nothing else. But when you cut into it, it oozes or bursts with that heart of love or red.
Okay,
So what
that's
we're
great.
saying is
That's the part that I will do it, like the dessert part.
yeah.
Okay.
But again, of course, try to see it in a way knowing that every partner that's going to execute it is not a high-end pastry chef. They're not going to have the cocoa butter sprays, and they're not
Yes.
going to have the ability to freeze the gel and insert it and create this entremet that is going to be. So try to see what is a realistic way for someone to execute it. But then that's an idea of how the AI looks stark on the outside, but the core of the information that AI has been built on has been all these Nonna's recipes. So when we break into the future, the AI, we still, at the base of it, the base information that was fed into it is from the recipe books that
Programs.
Nonna
Yes.
created. I don't know. That can be the message, that can be
Thank
the
you.
visualization. It's up to you.
I
I
really
love
like it.
his idea of the aspect of, Nonna asking about seasonality, because that's a very strategic, smart way of putting in that seasonality bit and the process of the interaction of Nonna with AI. So maybe the question, Martina, that she can ask AI is, how can I change, or which, it can be as simple as which red
Yeah,
fruit
can
is
I
currently
substitute
in season.
cherries with
Or
fruit
which red
in
fruit,
October?
which fruit is currently in season.
Yeah, sure.
It's as simple as that. It's one Italian line that is powerful and everyone will be able to follow it. So it's not like a full dialogue that people have to.
Yes. Amazing.
Okay.
Super strong. Okay.
Yes.
So you guys are
Thank you very
sorted.
much.
You're doing your recipe. You know now, just write the flexibility of options. Try to foresee as much as you're developing this recipe, which fruit or which flavors are acceptable within it, your recipe. But at the same time, put that limitation of they should be red, for example, or blue, or yellow, or berries, or whatever you want, and try to see how to at least give that curatorial guideline to whoever's executing it with flexibility. Okay.
One question. The video should be in a specific quality. It's horizontal, right? But there's a quality.
Horizontal, and it should be as high res as possible so that it can be, but phone is also fine. Like if you shoot on an iPhone, it's okay
Yeah,
because we'll
I
have to
can. I
project
think
it
I
on a
can
big,
shoot
it should
4K.
be okay.
I think I can shoot in 4K. So
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Va bene.
Thank you very much. Perfect.
Amazing. Again, know that you guys have complete, everything we've said right now is ideas and feedback. It's your project as long as the both of you agree
Thank
on
you
it.
very much.
These were just guidelines to sort of, questions to think as outsiders on your
Now, and great guidelines.
amazing. In the community chat area, you've seen the final Google Drive folder where you need to
Yes.
upload your recipe as a PDF and your video as your final deliverable. Do
Yes.
not
I
forget,
already saw them.
perfect. Do not forget that since you guys initially had proposed another project individually, and now you have a collaborative project, there has to be a narrative or the write up. Imagine this was an artwork being displayed. There has to be a concept note written
Perfect.
which explains or communicates this idea. That concept note is another opportunity for you to be able to put in aspects that you cannot visualize or you cannot control. So, hidden things like seasonality or the bigger issue at hand, the context, the background, that kind of thing can be included in that piece of your submission.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we do one submission, right?
We will do one submission together. All your info about the artist, your bios, that we already have when you applied to participate. But your proposal,
It's
you all
together.
had different ideas. So now you'll have to come up with a joint narrative, which
But do we need that title for our podcast?
it can be that question in Italian. Hey, not hey Siri, but hey whatever you said. How do I
Well,
change? How do I change
okay.
the
Yeah.
fruit?
But like
Like
it's
that.
not going to be displayed the title. I mean, yeah, maybe if we want to print this.
Maybe it will be maybe on an archive on the website as Ensemble grows. Maybe when we publish news articles and write about each project, it can feature. So treat it with as much attention
Mm-hmm.
as if this was a thing being exhibited as a physical artwork. Like imagine your video, your dish and this write-up being something that people in a museum can come and see.
But what about the papers that we want to print for the people?
Then that needs to be an
We should put it.
artwork. That needs to
What?
be an artwork that you upload, like a PDF or
But you're going to print it, so like it's not.
yeah, and again, it's okay because it's something that access to a printer. Now, don't tell us to print A0 size on
Oh, why not?
on
We
rice.
wanted like
A0 on rice
a
paper, for
building
example.
shape paper.
A0 on rice paper is something that's ridiculous. So as long as it's something that's accessible,
I think
it's
it's an
A4,
A5.
A5 poster, color or black and white, not a problem. Think about it like those type of things. That's okay. That everyone in whichever location has the ability to produce, you know.
Okay.
If, for example, you need that paper to be served under the dessert, always over the plate,
Before.
Oh, we went before. We wrote down
that
the
needs
like
to be
you
in the
said the
recipe.
video is going to be before, then the paper, and then we served the dessert.
That needs to
Exactly.
be in the recipe because note
We
that the
wrote it.
recipe document is an internal document that is used by the partners for execution.
Yeah. We
Perfect.
already wrote it down.
Yeah, the
Yes.
video is seen by eaters. The dish is eaten by eaters. So if your paper needs to be printed and served before a dish, that should be clearly communicated to the kitchen team in your recipe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Try also to upload that photo, like a photograph of this. Like you can even do, you don't have to print out your artwork that you create, but just like a piece of paper, say artwork before dish, and literally take a picture if you're executing the recipe, Natalia. Anyway, on that day when you're doing your final shot, and add that as an internal shot into the recipe before you end the document so that it's very clearly written. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing. If you guys don't have any more questions, y'all are free to go.
Thank
If you
you.
want to stay, we can put you in a breakout room. Mika, we'll wait for about 5 minutes more because Sophie texted me saying she was on her way back from work and wanted to meet us as well.
Okay.
Okay.
So see you soon.
Thank you, Natalia. Thank you,
See you
Mark.
soon. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
And it was perfect timing. We just finished meeting with Natalia and Martina for feedback on their project. So now the floor is all yours.
Okay, now.
Are your colleagues
Okay.
coming in the end now? No. Your
No,
photographer, no.
they will be part of the next, but it was too short.
Yeah, but there's no next meeting now for this project.
Yes, but
You're
with
fine.
3 of us,
Yeah.
they are in.
Okay, amazing.
And Yashan on the 15th, what's the 15th on
15th of June is everyone needs to upload their final projects. That's it. We need it in advance so that we can plan with Jasper a trial menu and tasting next month. And then we need to be able to already submit some things formally to Dutch Design Week. So we needed everything collected already.
Okay. So everything is okay and ready. We are. I planned the shooting for next Monday, the 9th.
Oh.
So
It's a holiday.
it's Monday. It's Monday.
But is that a holiday in France as well? In Belgium, it's a holiday.
Yes, but we are in the food section, so no
Okay.
vacation, no weekend.
Never, yeah.
So it will be on my new office.
Oh.
So it's really, sorry, my cat messed up. It's really bright with a lot of different space and a lot of stage. So there is the 1 floor, 2nd floor, so we can take pictures at the 2nd floor to the 1st floor. So it can be like a thriller look. It's no longer in a real kitchen because we thought it was too much, too easy and maybe too to the
Literal.
point.
Yeah.
So now it's more artistic and you know what you are looking, but it's not, oh my God, it's in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So it's flow easy. It's still one bed with big couette and a lot of white sheets. It's a white bed, very clean, very luxurious. Everyone will want it to go in this bed. To me, it's like a safe place, really intimate. You really want to be in there, but in a really cold place, really dark, really. This bed has nothing to be there.
Yeah.
You will feel it, and it will be a lot of video shot, but no camera movement, only one thing, cut one thing. It's like a documentary of something that had happened. But everything is clean, perfect. But you understand that something bad happened and that everyone doesn't want to be there. Like every woman in the food system
Yeah.
in France. And for the food, it's ready now.
Are you
It's
going to be in the video yourself, Sophie?
only few parts, not my big face, because it's every woman, it's not just me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to talk about my story.
Yeah.
Also, if I want to show this video on my account and with a lot of association in France that are agree to repost it, I prefer to not show everything of me, and it's risky, I know. It's a subject really hard, and people on social media will be really hard, I think, with this thing. So it's a little protection. I don't show everything of me.
Yeah.
It's not only my story. I just talk about the message.
Yeah.
I use what happened, but I don't talk about it. I don't talk about him.
Yeah.
And you only see a bed, Sophie, or is somebody laying into it, or are you like
It's a bed, a arm, like a dead arm, like this. Maybe there's the mouth with the word excellence in here that you can talk. It's excellence. A lot of body parts, but not a whole human,
Yeah.
or a human with a sheet behind on him. Like I'm sorry for the trick, but it's like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see that there is a human, but you don't see the human behind it because
I
it's
thought maybe a blindfold, because a lot of people are blindfolded for the thing you want to talk about it. They don't want to see it. They know,
Yeah.
but they don't want to, or they don't want to hear it. Yes.
Yes. We are making the three of them: the mouse with excellence, the thing with a sheet, and with the here. I think it will be a profile shot with just the
Yeah.
action of I'm not hearing you. And for
is
the
it-
plate, we are going to sing it in the video with the action. So the plate with a white sculpture, like the white bed, very perfect, very clean. No one wants to touch it. It's the French gastronomy. It's untouchable. But I want that people at the dinner crush it. It's like, okay, we need to just move on and let us, like let's women just be creative. So we need to crush this sculpture, even if it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's only triangles. So very sharp and aggressive sculpture. It's beautiful, but you see that if you touch it, you will be hurt. I have picture. It's for the moment. It's with sugar, but we are working to be more edible. But for the moment, for the video to be very clean, etc., it will be sugar. It's easier. No waste.
Yeah.
Too many people talk on WhatsApp today. So, okay. It's like
You
oh,
need
it was enough.
you need to go to video and put off your background. So blur background, you need to put it off.
Ah,
You know the arrow where next to video?
Video. Okay.
And click the arrow on the side. Yeah,
Okay.
perfect. Yeah. Yeah, we see
Is
it.
it like you can make it in a meringue or something like that?
In mirror.
A
Meringue.
meringue.
Ah, meringue. Yes, but for the video, it's
Too
too hard
fragile.
with humidity. If we make it
Yeah.
at 8 in the morning,
Yeah.
at 3 would be not good, and all the plate is a salt plate. So
But what is the actual dish now?
yes, it's with betterave.
Betterave,
Metrab.
yeah.
Betterave. Okay.
I don't know what metrab is.
It's wrap.
Betterave?
You know?
Radish.
No.
Radish wrap. Wrap in how do you call it in English?
Beetroot.
Beetroot.
Yes, beetroot.
And the white one.
Turnip.
So it's a very
No.
orange and pink plate, only with it's vegetarian with hummus puree to make it stick together.
Yeah.
So you have the white sculpture above it, and after it's really colorful, a lot of flowers, a lot of things. It's with beetroot hummus, radish, edible flowers, strawberry pickles,
Yeah.
and it's with the season in France. We have a lot of fruit, so there is a door to be a dessert if we don't find it. But for the moment, it's salty. And we made it like to be okay in summer. It will be okay in fall and winter. So it's the declination are okay. It was the big part.
What is the sculpture made of in the actual dish?
It's a pastille. It's a powder sugar.
And it's easy to someone who's not a pastry chef to be able to make it.
Yes, I will have to made it tomorrow, so it's okay.
Okay.
For the moment, it's just like you make a dough and you make triangles. It's
Perfect. Yeah.
It has to be really easy to break and smash. But for the people at the dinner, maybe it will be with a spoon, like a crème brûlée.
Yeah. Perfect.
But me in the video, it will be.
Yeah.
But for this specific movement, it will be no real plate.
Yeah.
It's just the movement I want to capture.
So the sculpture is above the recipe, or the recipe is not in
There is for the dinner, there is the recipe and the sculpture. For the video in several shots, it's the same. But for one who I have a lot of hanger in the movement, there is no plate. It's too dangerous for the ceramic that I rent for the day. So it's
Beautiful. I think great evolution. I understand the language of the feeling behind the video and the hard, sharp end, also with how it translates in the dish with the textures, the action. Remember, if the action is something you need people to do, then if timing is important, if your dish needs to be served before your video is played, specify that in your recipe. If you want that your video is played and then people need to do that action, that needs to be explicitly said in the video so people know, pick up your spoon, hit this, then you sort of enjoy, or I don't know how you want to end it, but that action, call to action needs to be there, right?
yes.
So that is something to make sure is communicated effectively the way you want it in the video. I would suggest, with what you said as the recipe, when you're submitting your recipe, submit a sweet version and a savory version so that your project has the scope, because now you were placed as course number 2, 3, whatever. There are chances that your dish becomes course number 5 in the future, right? So if possible and your dish has that flexibility, specify savory recipe,
Yeah.
sweet recipe, or whatever, and submit it in that way um, as well. That's my feedback, but otherwise, I think it's going to be really powerful. Jasper and I also, I remember I told you that we said, okay, Ensemble should be the platform for Sophie to be able to address a subject like this. However, how how it's done is extremely controversial, can be extremely controversial. So it needs to be impactful, but needs to be done tastefully without calling names or pinpointing at people. And I think the way you have designed it now yourself and how you're imagining it with your team, um, I think it'll be a effective yet decent sort of,
Yes, it has to be safe.
yeah.
And I'm glad to have another job with it, because I know that after that I will have no one after this video. I know it. I'm ready to. It's okay. It's the moment.
Are you wearing a chef's jacket?
Jacket.
A chef's jacket, a coat, a chef's coat.
Ah,
The video or not?
for the moment it's a white dress with a shirt, but I have one.
Maybe it's more powerful.
Okay.
I
Or
don't know. You have to feel good
you
about
feel it.
it
Because I
because
also
you have
know,
to.
I know, Sophie, with the conversations we've had, you've also always said to me, as a young, petite woman
Yeah.
working in this industry of men, you're not taken seriously. So I also think maybe you don't necessarily need that coat, but having a really elegant, chic white, whatever the most female thing and delicate thing might be, whatever is the most coquette thing to do. You see, because both of those
Yeah.
things give different messages, right? If there are so many layers to the message, that having the chef coat helps drive the overall story forward, use it. If having the white outfit is helping push the main story
Yeah.
forward, then choose that. So I think costume is important.
I think I will take everything that is white in my closet, and I will see with the team, because they
Yeah.
know how is really it's good to be with a team.
Yeah.
Maybe it
Amazing.
will bring some emotions when you're doing
it will be, I'm sure.
And
I
then
think that it
I'm
will be
glad that
very
it's,
powerful.
yeah, I'm glad it's a real safe place with safe people.
Yeah.
And it's, I think it's funny that it's in my new office where everywhere is really clean and happy and chill. It's cool. For me, the message is cool. No one will know, but
Oh,
I know.
and then the other thing I was thinking is this process that you're doing, even if your footage doesn't come into the final video, everything that you're doing of taking all the white clothes out of your closet, or try to document
Yeah.
all of this, because it will help us also with the promotions. It will help you when you use this project in other places, to be able to communicate it in different ways. Because
Okay.
the goal with this is we can also then, once these projects are seen, we can have them published as individual articles, release press releases specifically on those subjects. You might get media interviews. And at that point in your life and your career, if the deeper story behind it is something that you decide to share, that's, entirely up to you to take that call at that point. But I'm saying all of these things are possibilities. So while you're creating it, capture and keep as much
Yeah.
footage, content, behind the scenes, your emotions or reactions, whatever it might be, I think is very, very powerful in this story as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
It's
are you
okay if the
doing?
video is only 2 minutes?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because it's long, 2 minutes.
It's okay because it had to be between 2 and 4 minutes, so no problem.
And we make will be 2.00.
Perfect.
And are you doing the voiceover, or are you?
At the beginning, it will have a little text, like in some movies, to just make a context. Like it's in the French gastronomy. I don't know how is it in other European countries. I know some, but I don't know everyone. So I think I have to say that it's in France that the things happen, and maybe at the end it will be just a sentence, a word, maybe a lot of like crush it, or I don't know. I don't have the wording, but I will have it after the video because working like this. I know it.
Perfect.
It was the same with the books last year, so I have the scenography, all the images that I need. We made them, and after I have the words, so
I
it's
still
okay.
I still need a copy of that book. Oh, my God, still not here.
It's still in my apartment with a post-it with Jashan. So
Amazing.
tell me, I send it, or
Yeah,
maybe next time in Brussels. I
perfect.
don't have the day. It will be this month, but I don't know
You
when.
let me know. Um, I think sound is important to consider,
Yes.
or the lack of sound. So if you decide to use some kind of music or whatever it is,
No, it's silence with just a little. It's not nothing, but it. And sometimes you have a rhythm of an arm who crush the door of a kitchen.
yeah, very
Like,
powerful. Only thing I would suggest is at the beginning of your video, you should have some kind of sound. Why? Because imagine in the context of a dinner, unless there's something that grabs people's attention and makes them stop,
okay,
so that use sound also to your advantage at the beginning, because
okay.
I think for your project the lack of sound is very powerful, the
Hmm.
silence is powerful, but you need to make that evident by contrasting it.
So
Because
a big
if you
boom.
start with silence, your video will start, people will be talking to each other, the dish will be served, some people will watch it, some won't. So I think there needs to be that either the thud of a body hitting the ground or something against or a muffled scream or I don't know. You see, but that needs to be the thing that makes people like, okay, shh, shh, shh,
Yeah.
and then they're watching.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, Mika?
Just I'm not the best on montage to create a movie. So if someone is good in it,
Yeah. So, Imen
okay,
offered to also be able to help. So
okay,
once you have your footage, etc., and you've named your videos sequentially, whatever it is, and if you need her help,
okay,
you can
cool.
reach out to her also on the group. But she had offered initially to be able to help stitch the videos.
Okay, cool. I take it.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect.
Backup, I can do it. If Imen is not available to do it, I can do it. I'm not the best editor, but I can put things together, no problem.
I can
Montage
Yeah,
is
do
okay.
also.
it's more on the when you pass to another plan.
Yeah,
Sometimes I
The
know I'm not the best.
Midway.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's not very
yeah,
catchy.
yeah. Um, Good.
Good.
I think it's very powerful. I think you've managed to get the essence of it and the real message, but without pointing fingers.
Yeah.
And I think the versatility of your dish with the sweet and the savory options in the recipe will help the project be executed more and more. So I think that's very, very good.
Cool. Perfect.
And
Awesome.
you are with who together, Sophie, again?
She's on her own
You're on your own, yeah.
as the
Now
ensemble artist, but she's
I
working
saw it.
collaboratively
Yeah, I
with,
saw it in my notes.
yeah, yeah,
I'm with, if you want to know, to look what they do, it's with Ginny Dark
yeah.
and Laurine Annabelle.
I know Laureen, how exciting. She's been following iFood design for years now.
Yeah, I know, and she's coming in Lille from Brittany just for me.
Oh,
Crazy,
Yeah.
crazy. Amazing. And what does Janine do? She's the
Ginny is a photographer.
yeah,
We worked together last year for the book, and
yeah,
she's only for good people. No, it's only artisan, natural thing,
yeah.
really sweet girl.
Beautiful. So you can also decide, Sophie, how you want them to be credited. And that is something that when you submit your final uh, recipe and when you create the video, if it is in the form of credits on the video, or when your project is exhibited, think about every time an Instagram post is published that you always want, let's say, creative direction, Sophie Coulet, photography, Janine, and then the recipe or the
Yeah.
dessert, whatever, Laureen. And with their handles, etc., you decide because it's your project. But if credits have to be given, you need to do it. You can also, of course, say every time this project is exhibited, I want three profiles or three artists with their bios because this was not something that was only me. I was the starting, but that's up to you to decide. Just submit all that information to us so that we can have it. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
one write up. So you've already submitted your initial concept, correct? That if your project has not changed too much, we can use that same write up. But if you think as you've evolved the project or how it ends, you want a new summary. So think of it as when you go to a museum, you've got the artwork and then the description, the curatorial note. That is what you have to submit as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect.
14th of June, 15th of June. Yeah.
15th.
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
Sunday or
15.
Saturday?
Sunday, end of Sunday, no problem.
Mhm.
So
Say at
so
12 o'clock.
Sunday at midnight. Try to see if you can already write to Imen and get in touch with her to ask her for that help so that we try to make sure your project is done within the deadline
Okay.
as well. Okay?
Okay, perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you soon, eh? Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Get the rest, you deserve it. Bye.
Is there somebody else coming?
I do not think so. I thought Sharp and Sour was going to come, but I think they had already sort of worked out their project because Maria was going on vacation. So that is Imen and Sharp and Sour is done. Sophie is done. I've already finished the project. Martina and Natalia were here, and Kay said that she couldn't make it today. So if she needs anything, I'll coordinate with her. So I think it's coming out well, no? Because we could also end up executing a version of Ensemble in Belgium. We could execute it together. I have the location. We
That
can
would
work
be
together
great.
on the recipes. That would be great. And then we can do it in Ghent as well. I'm sure we'll be able to do it. Um, and then I already have someone in Austria who she teaches at a university, who she's a new member, and she could be interested in having her students execute the project and put everything together.
Yeah,
But we would have a iteration potentially in Austria already as well. So, but I'm focusing on Dutch Design Week to
yeah.
execute it once, and then we do all of everything else after.
Okay.
Yeah?
All right.
Thank you very much.